traveling in Svalbard, a high Arctic archipelago of islands, tundra environment. Ancient man was never here. Humans didn't come until the 16th century, and it's a wild place, still a wild place, preserved for its wilderness. Just a fantastic landscape, unique wildlife, and also a diverse place. Quite diversity of Arctic plants, diversity of wildlife, but also it's quite a challenge to deal with the elements and also find the wildlife.
I can repeat the same sentence 19 times, but you have to find that thing in there.
We have to search and to experience polar bears, walrus, and other wildlife in Svalbard.
In this general area towards the mountains, towards the shore, right there. Yeah. And then that's, okay, you see the hump? So occasionally they'll fluke up. So there's the, so now it's...
Right here, coming right now! Head on now, that's that. The other one's coming up. Oh my gosh, the whale's just everywhere.
I can't run it from side.
Get a chance, definitely head out on deck because the whale's right next to the ship feeding very close to us.
It's morning and night, it's really hard to tell up here so far north, but we've already seen a bunch of humpback whales and some fin whales giving us a treat before breakfast this morning. And the glacier's coming in into the sea around here and the mountains are just breathtaking. It's a great morning so far.
Oh, look at all the harp seals coming up on the starboard bow. Wow.
Well, we just had a nice look at a pretty decent sized group of harp seals, and they very typically porpoise on the water surface are often seen in large groups, and their distinctive patterning, black head, black saddle, and a mostly gray-white body makes them very easy to identify. And those guys were, I don't know, maybe 100 meters from the ship, and maybe 15 or so individuals swimming together, which was a nice way to start the morning, along with everything else that's been going on here. Hard to say what's going to come next.
Coming right at us, here's the puffin!
If you have binoculars, you get a good look at them. They're really colorful, sort of clown-like birds, and we don't see a lot of them here. They're not super abundant in Svalbard. They're definitely a target. Ah, right there. That's what's cool about puffins.
Yes.
See?
I think you're wrong, so
We're taking pictures of whales.
Oh, it's us. And we're learning our cameras again after a year and a half off after Arctic.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get it right still.
Yeah, I just shooting a million photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A million.
A million.
How many tails can you get?
There they go.
Here they are.
During our first morning here in Svalbard, we had fantastic looks at a variety of marine mammals. We had excellent looks at harp seals. They're only found here in the Arctic. We also saw humpback whales, medium-sized baleen whales, gulp feeding right next to the ship. These animals, and plus the fin whales that we saw, are here feeding. So there's a lot of food just below the surface. So that's why all the animals were concentrated in this area just off the mouth of Hornson.
Wow. Oh, the calf went upside down!
So if you're not outside, you really should be. We had a fantastic look at 2 adult fin whales really close to the ship, and then the small one on the far outside is a fin whale calf. It's a really exciting sighting because we don't know where their breeding grounds are. We don't know when the calves are born. It could be maybe 2 to 3 months old. I can't tell you exactly, but we almost never see fin whale calves here. So please come join us on deck.
Okay, so here we are at Grosvenor, and we've got this fantastic scenery here, beautiful blue sky day, and we've got thousands and thousands of black-legged kittiwakes. They're nesting up on the cliffs here, they're bathing here in the little pond just behind, and collecting nesting material as well. So they're collecting that nesting material and then heading up to the cliffs. We're assuming at the moment that they've got, maybe they're in the early stages of laying, and so they're just kicking off their breeding season and getting into things as the summer approaches. It's a fantastic first morning here in Spitsbergen.
I'm the lonely trapper here in Spitsbergen, and I'm sitting here outside my cabin at Grosvenor on the western side, the fjord Homsund, and this is one of my side stations. My main station is further out there in the fjord to the north, and I come here and use this as a base when I'm out controlling my traps for Arctic fox and polar bears. And right now we're waiting to go home after a long trapping season up here. It's been cold and dark, but very successful. Lots of skins to bring back to Hammerfest or Tromsø, depending on what they pay the best price. And hopefully I can stay home for a year, but may go back here for another season.
This morning we're in the island of Edgøya, which is one of two large islands on the east side of Svalbard. This part of Edgøya is known as Russabukta, named for the old Russians that used to be here, the Russians Bay. When we walk around in this area, we're on the east side, a little bit of tundra, but it's on top of a very interesting aspect geologically, which is all of this dolerite. In other areas of the world, they call it basalt. It was an intrusive material that came up as the Atlantic was splitting apart all of the major continents in the northern hemisphere. This intrusive material came up and spread out and protected the other rocks. And so it's a very hard material. It's pretty good walking on it, but it holds up the islands of Edgøya and Barentsøya.
Like walking on a sponge. But the environment itself is just amazing. There's so much life when you look down and you realize that there's inches, if not a foot, of plant growth underneath you, and how long it's been there and how did it get there. And then seeing hidden among it all the birds and the eggs and so on. It's just really incredible.
So here we are on Edgøya Island, and Edgøya has a population of about 2,500 reindeer, of which we've seen quite a number today, and some wonderfully close encounters. And I think we're all quite impressed by the whiteness of this species, this subspecies of caribou. And in large part, reindeer, like most animals that are white, are lacking melanin in their fur, and that is an adaptation to insulation. In the absence of melanin, that shaft is hollow and allows them to stay a little bit warmer, which makes a big difference in the wintertime, of course, when the polar night dominates.
I want you
to hold this on your head like you think it's on a... which side do you think? Does it go like that? What do you think? Why don't you turn around so everyone can see? So does this look right? Does that look like what the way that the reindeer would wear it? No. This is how it would be. Well, if you move your head, then I got to move the antlers, so you got to keep your head still. So this is a right antler. They start and they're concave, but they concave back to the center of the head.
This afternoon, we've had the opportunity to make a second landing on Edgioya, and we are here at Disco Bukta. One of the highlights of this landing is to get to go see the black-legged kittiwake colony, and we're about a half a mile away here standing on shore, and you can already hear them in the distance. We'll be hiking up into a narrow cut where there will be kittiwakes on both sides of us up nesting on the cliffs. Black-legged kittiwakes are a small gull, and they're the most numerous gull here in Svalbard. And they like to nest on the really steep cliffs. They build a small mud and seaweed nest, and unlike a lot of gulls that nest on the ground, these kittiwakes have their nest up on the side of a cliff where it's very safe, and the chicks, when they hatch, they sit right in that nest until they fledge and fly off.
Never seen this many birds in one spot in my life.
It's noisy. It's really noisy. We're hearing the sound of about 20,000 breeding pairs, I think, and it's an incredible background noise right now. That's what it's like here.
When you have this many birds nesting in one place, predators like the Arctic fox like to come in, because if there are any nests they can get to, that's easy pickings to get eggs or chicks, or sometimes chicks may fall. So we'll also be scanning and hoping to see some Arctic fox.
It's really cool. I'm so excited that we get to see this baby too. I don't know, it's just really cool. I didn't think we'd see one this early because as you guys said before, it's kind of hard to see them. But it's really exciting.
But the bear woke up and looked at us.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's awake.
Really lazy,
And the head actually is down and just looking at us.
Polar bears is a really clever animal. The Inuits used to say that it's got 10 man's strength, but actually 12 man's wisdom. So that illustrates how clever they are, both in finding food, migrating around on the sea ice, staying on the sea ice, and saving energy.
Searching the ice for polar bears, and what a lucky day. This is our fourth one of the day, a big one. The quietness and the solitude and just the amazing depth of the ice is fantastic.
What's your favorite thing to photograph? Polar bears? Did you get some good? Oh, for the little cameras it's hard.
Wait, I gotta...
Because you don't have a lot of lenses. Let's go a little wider here. Okay. And then when we want to shoot video, I think we just start with this red button, and you do it. Martin, you want to do it? Push the red button, and you're recording. See, red record. Now you're doing movies. And then when you want to stop, hit it again.
I'm standing in front of the third largest ice shelf in the world. It's amazing! It's like 100 miles by 100 miles. That's 10,000 square miles. That's amazing. Probably gonna be out here for some time watching it go by. You know, it's breathtaking is what it is. I stood out here for a few minutes in the freezing cold and it didn't matter. You feel warm inside just looking at something like this, just being in awe of how, magnificent this is.
That's where we are. Get in there.
So we're approaching Cape Fanshawe here, and everyone's really excited, especially the birders, because on these cliffs are several 100,000 breeding seabirds, and we've got thick-billed murres, or Brunix guillemots as they're known in Europe. As we approach, we're starting to see the birds milling around the cliffs, and the birds coming and going as well. They will be in the early stages of breeding, so we're all pretty excited about getting up and close to these cliffs.
So look at how tightly packed all the birds are.
Yeah, they are on the light.
So that's right where they nest. They're not just perched there hanging out.
Oh.
They have nests there.
The action to look out for, always look out for Arctic foxes along the bottom of the cliffs. But some of the other predators that are here, the glaucous gulls, will take advantage of things like kittiwakes fighting or kittiwakes not concentrating while they're doing things on the cliffs. And so sometimes we get to see the glaucous gulls come in and attack as well. So there's all that sort of action, but general comings and goings of the birds.
I can repeat the same sentence 19 times, but you have to find that thing there. About in the 2 o'clock position is some open water in the middle of the flow. The bear is really lying flat. You just see a fine, creamy line in there. See that glacier in the back that comes down between the mountains, that valley?
Yes.
Yes. See that valley?
Yes.
And I'm talking about that pond that is in front of the valley.
Okay.
Just before the rough ice starts.
Good. You see him?
I did see his back.
Great.
Now we have landed here at the northeast land, the little Antarctic continent of Svalbard. And it's a very cold, icy day with wind from the Arctic Ocean, and it really fits into well to the environment here. Just behind us here we have a crowd or a herd of walruses up on the beach. In fact, there's also a number of walruses swimming here in the water. And this is one of many fallout sites here we have in Svalbard. Walrus was the icon, or is the icon of the Arctic, but it was really hunted badly here in that North Atlantic. But over the last 50 years it has been able to recover, and nowadays we can find walruses at many places around Svalbard. And today we are lucky, there's a pile of walrus blubber here on the beach.
Like Navy SEALs.
So here we are in a brand new place. Literally, the ship has never been to this spot. No staff member has walked here. We're absolutely excited about what we might find. True expedition style hiking this afternoon. Beautiful, beautiful snow. Summer is tomorrow, officially the solstice is tomorrow, so this is the last day of spring. And spring is holding on for quite a while here. Snow is still heavy, still deep,
and we will be out hiking and walking in the snow and in the tundra at a brand new location. So I think the easiest way to do this, because we've got a big river to cross right here, I'm going to take us back down to the beach and walk along the beach. Tide's coming up, we might not have that option coming back, and I want to make the initial spot that first cabin.
Sensitive right here, so we're going to skirt around the edge of it and then head towards the hut. It's Jason Roberts is a film production company. He's based in Longyearbyen, and so this will be fuel caches, that's water caches there. So he probably has permission from the government to store them in certain places. So I'm sure in the winter he's come over, done filming here, and used the hut.
Diving in the Arctic is an incredible experience. Very few people get to dive up here, so it's a real privilege to be able to go and explore the undersea world up here. When you go underwater, your first initial thing is the shock, the temperature of the water. It's cold here. Certain places it's actually below freezing. It's 30 degrees, which is about where seawater freezes, so it's quite chilly. But then once you get over that initial shock, you begin to explore, and the world, the undersea world just begins to open up, and there's so much life down there. It really is spectacular. There's a lot of nutrients in the water, a lot of organic material, and so we get a lot of things that filter that stuff out of the water. We see a lot of anemones, a lot of filter feeding hydroids, all sorts of different stuff. We see crabs and nudibranchs, and the most rewarding experience I think I've found up here in the Arctic is really just the fact that we get to explore up here. It really is new and different. Very few people, if anyone, has ever been to these places where we go dive. And we really are exploring for the first time, which is exciting. We never know really what we're going to find.
All of you who signed up for the first round of kayakers, please start round gathering. Gather your life jackets and key cards and make your way down to the mud.
We're going kayaking, looking for beluga whales.
Oh, it's been fabulous. It's so sad to see the day go by and to miss out on any more polar bears and hikes that have been just fabulous.
We've made some really good friends, and I think that's the most special part of this trip. So we're going to miss all of our friends. We're like a little close-knit family.
But we'll cherish it through pictures and through video, and it'll be great.
And email. There may be more trips to follow with National Geographic.
So your paddle stroke should also be nice and shallow. You don't need to do a really big, deep stroke like you might in a canoe. These are different. So a nice light paddle. The person in the front sets the pace.
Thank you. Here we go, finding the whale.
This experience has been incredible. I've never seen polar bears in the wild before, and to see a mom and cub was just extraordinary. To have the polar bears come so close to the ship, to be able to look almost directly into the eye of this huge beast was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had in my life. I've never understood the vastness of the ice here. I've never understood that it could support such an incredible ecosystem, and now I'm going to carry that with me for the rest of my years. I feel so privileged to have been able to bear witness to this place and to record it through photography, and I just am completely blown away with its majesty and beauty.
We've been blessed with the range of things we've seen. Polar bear, female with her calf, lots of walrus, including a walrus female with her calf, lots of seals, plenty of seabirds, and really staggering scenery in generally really quite beautiful weather. So I think the things to go away with are what a staggeringly beautiful place this is, how fragile a place this is, because whereas many of us at home will probably not be experiencing the effects of climate change around us, up here the effects are really very obvious and they are all around us. So perhaps the thing to take away is that this is a fragile place and a beautiful place.
Hi, we're here on Spitsbergen Island in the Arctic, and unfortunately everything that you throw in the ocean ends up here. So be careful what you drop down that drain, and be careful what you throw in the ocean, because it will end up here in these pristine islands. Thank you.
The chicken gallery.